Okay, so I got to the length that I wanted it to be. I counted out every 10 stitches and put on a stitch marker. And now I'm going to turn my work and I'm going to count up four chains. Okay, and then I'm going to count 4 chains over. I'm going to put a single crochet. And count up 4. Count over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that 4th. Oh, it slip stitched on me. Don't want that. It just jumped over there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the stitch markers have nothing to do with your count. Right now we're starting the lattice stitch. So this is the first part of it. These are only to match your back. So when you make your back or the front, whichever one you want to start with, doesn't matter, they're exactly the same. Front panel, back panel are identical. Your measurement for your body is how long you make your chains. You just keep making these chains until it meets the length from inside elbow to inside elbow across your shoulders and across your neck. Then I put in these afterwards so that when I make my second panel, these will match up. So I'll have the same amount of stitches. The lattice is its own internal count and has nothing to do with matching front and back panels. And it's a very simple 4 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. You put in a regular single crochet. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you do that all the way to the end. I will meet you back. Okay, so I got to the end, and it looks like I have just an extra stitch here. I'm just going to leave it in case I need it later for whatever reason, but I can pick it out. So that's something I do very often, is I end up with extra stitches. I hate it when I have not enough stitches. That makes me sad. But when I have extra stitches, I don't worry about it too much. I'll pick it out later. So now I've got to the end, and I'm going to turn. I'm going to do 4 chains. Now I'm going to go into the hole, that space, and do a single crochet. Now you could do this all the way across. That's up to you. Just to, for the rest of this, that's it. That's all you have to do is 4 single crochet, 4 single crochet. But I decided that I was going to do something a little more fancy. And I'm doing picots every 3rd row. You don't have to, but that's what I decided to do. And I did little teeny tiny picots, not 3. I did 2. So this is a 4-2 count. 4-2 count is what this is. And as you can see, I've got my I've got an extra stitch here as well. You see that? So that's why I'm not too worried about it. It's possible I didn't skip all 4. But remember, the lattice isn't going to match up with the other lattice for the other piece. The main thing you need to match up is these stitches here. So if I wanted to, I could do this. Just fudge it. Put 1 extra chain there, and then go right into the end. Do your single crochet. So that's the only one that'll have 5. And then turn it and do 1, 2, 3, 4. Single crochet. Let me double check one thing. So I wanted to match at least the counts. So it looks like I did the first row without picots, but the very next row I did picots. I don't know if you can see that. There's a picot, there's a picot. It's the first row that I just did. The second row has picots. I call it the 4-2 count. It's very simple. I just did 4 right here. 4 along this turn. I did my single crochet stitch into the hole. Count 2. Go back into your single crochet that you went into the space, the chain space, and you slip stitch it. Then you count 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go into the chain space. Do your single crochet, count 2. 1, 2. Go into the legs. Of your single crochet. I don't know why that was so tight. You slip stitch. Then 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Into the hole, that chain space. Do a single crochet. 1, 2. One, 2, 3, 4. Single crochet into the space. 1, 2. Through the pants or the legs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Single crochet into the space. 1, 2. Now most picots, I've found that most people do 3 chains. I didn't like how big they were. I just like the little tiny picot. You might like a 3 chain picot. You might like even a 4 chain picot. You might even want to do a clones knot, which is practically a bullion stitch. But I just wanted something small and quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you do this all the way to the end. 1, 2. I will see you at the end, and we will turn and we'll do 2 rows of just lattice without any picots. I'll see you then. Okay, welcome back. I've got to the end. I made my last picot in the chain space after making that single crochet, made the picot, chained 4. Now I'm just going to go into the space again. I'm not going to do anything other than just go right in the space like that. Do a single crochet, and then I'm going to count up 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn my work, and then just do a single crochet into the space I just made. And chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jump over into the next space. Do a single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are no picots on this row. This row and the next row are just lattice, plain lattice. And go all the way across, just making a single crochet into each of those chain spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just hopping over and putting a single crochet in. I will meet you at the end. Okay, so I'm at the end. Welcome back. Now we're going to just hopscotch over top with that last 4 chains. And just go right into the hole here. Now we can just turn it and do 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go right back into the space. Now we're over top of the picots. So when you do your single crochets into the chain space, there'll be a picot directly below. One, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to offset those picots. They're going to look a lot more random. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because if you wanted to make it look really regular, you could do picots here. And then you'd have a line of picots, and then you'd have like a line of spaces going up if you wanted it to look like that. Or you could do every single one a picot. But I'm choosing to offset my picots in the pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll see you at the end, and we'll do our row of picots on the next row. Okay, welcome back. I'm at the end of row 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th lattice row. Just go into the hole, the space. Do your single crochet after you do your 4. Now we're back on a picot row. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go into the space, do your single crochet, 2 chains into the legs of the single crochet, slip stitch it, and then do 4 more chains. Make your single crochet in the next chain space, chain 2 into the pants. I don't know why I call these pants, but this V reminds me of a pair of pants, so that's what I always think about that. But they're the legs of the stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can call it whatever you want to call it. 1, 2. One other thing I do is I pinch that that picot when I'm ready to do my chain 4. Okay, see that? Oh, it's split again. Okay, so there it is. Now I push it down, and then I do my chain 4. Oh, it's so splitty. Right now is when I'm holding that picot down while I do my chain 4. You might find a different place to anchor your chain while you're making it, but that's what I do. It gets it out of the way as well, so I don't, my hook doesn't get caught on it. So this is what you do until you get it as long as you want the light part of the body. 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I get to the end, I will show you how to join the top when I get it as long as I want it to across the bust area, because this is not going to be a full top in one color, as you will see. So I've taken one of my favorite shirts, and what I did was I wanted to measure from the top of the shoulder down to the seam. And I know it's a black t-shirt, so it isn't going to show up very well, but I pretty much only own black t-shirts. So there's the seam, and that's about how long it is, 12. So I only made a rectangle that drops down to 12 inches. How wide you want it to be. You lay your shirt out completely across. Like here's the neck, and then you lay your shirt completely flat, and you just measure from the top of the sleeve on this side to the top of the sleeve on that side, and that'll be the width of your rectangles. Is the neck hole, and instead of trying to measure this because it's two different shapes, what I did was I just went around my head. I just measured around my hat band, basically. And you know, crochet stretches a little bit, so it doesn't have to be, you know, perfect. So like 23 inches is my head. So half of that is 12-ish. And so when I put my two rectangles together, let me put this up to my head. I just literally wrapped it around my head halfway to see if it was going to fit. And now I just measured that with a tape measure. Let's see what I've got. 10 and a half. 10 and a half. That's a little on the tight side, but yeah, it stretches. It stretches to 12. So I like the smaller neck hole. I don't want it gapping when I bend over to pick up something. I want to have a little bit more modesty. So this is how I put it together. Just used the stitch markers that I had, you know, every 10, and I put them together. I made the 2 panels, so they are stitch marker together. Now, what if I do 2 chains? I skip 2, skip 1, and then into the second one. Oops, I went behind it. I gotta keep it in front on this side. 1, 2, skip 2 on the second one, go down. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's the only problem with this zigzag slip stitch, is you have to remember to put the yarn in front of your hook. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. So you could do whatever type of joining method you like. I'm happy with this. Just a little zigzag join. Gives enough space here to kind of match your lattice. You could do more than 2 spaces. You could do more than 2 chain stitches in between. But I think I'm gonna stick with this. And I'm gonna go all the way to the neck. I'll meet you at the neck, right there. Okay, so I finished the top of the shoulder from the outside sleeve into the neck, and that's what it looks like. A little bit of a zigzag. It's a little bit more substantial looking at the top. I like that. I have to sew in the ends. I won't bore you to tears with that. But I'm going to go ahead and do this on the other side, but I'm going to start from the outside again. And here are all my stitch markers. Okay, so here at the bottom, you see these are the last picots on that row. I did about 12 inches. I'm going to take this and I'm going to stitch these corners together. Actually, I want to use this little needle. Right here, because that's where it turned. I just put, I don't want to split the yarn, and it is so hard not to. Okay, there we go. And this shirt will be worn underneath, over top of something like a tank top, or it could be a beach cover-up if you are into going to beaches. I'm also going to crochet along the bottom here and continue the top. This is by no means the be-all end-all of the top. Okay, but I just wanted to hide the end and create the shape of the torso, because that's where the torso is going to continue. So here's the first armhole. There is the neck. I have to hide the ends on this side and sew these at the end over here. I've got the other end. So I am going to attach this medium blue Rodeo Premier. It's such a pretty yarn, medium 4, 85% cotton, 15% polyester, and yeah, I really love it. And it comes in like 4 different gradients in different shades. Like you've got the cream, and then you've got like a light blue, and then a, you know, it's a fabulous yarn line, and they discontinued it, and I don't know why. Why? Very sad. So anyway, you see what I'm doing here. So I'm attaching it with a slip knot and then doing a slip stitch right in the middle of this first chain space. And I don't know if this is the front or the back. And so at the bottom of my 2 strips, I'm going to attach the dark color. This is the shoulder. This is the armhole. And here is the bottom edge. And in my dream of this shirt, it had brown as the bottom color, but I'm going to go with this medium blue. And I just did 4 slip stitch. I'm going to do a single crochet in the next space, and then I'm going to do 4 slip stitch. And then do a single crochet in the next space. So it's the same pattern, but it's just in a darker color. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason why I'm doing this is it is kind of a it tricks the eye, because you've got this bright color, you know, the white, which draws the eye, and it looks like a bolero across the chest and shoulders. But the dark blue at the bottom, I think, will look really great with a pair of blue jeans, and then you could put a tank top underneath of any color, you know, and it will fool the eye when you have a body shape like mine that's not an hourglass, but yet you can still kind of be in fashion with the bolero look, with, you know, the top being lacy and very summery, and it's not a crop top, but it'll give you that illusion of a crop top, and that's why I'm choosing this color, because I think it'll look great with blue jeans, and it'll just blend right into the blue jeans. And so it'll give me a longer waist. It'll actually give me a waist, because I'm not shaped like that. But yeah, think of like the bottoms that you wear the most, whether it's a skirt or a pair of pants, or even if it's like a, you know, long pair of shorts or whatever. You just take the color that you normally wear on your bottom, your pants or skirt or whatever, shorts, and then just take a color that matches that. And what this does is it brings your waist up high, just under your bust area. And that gives you a more shapely waist when you have the same color. They're cute. They're really nice tops. I definitely wouldn't do a crop top, but even the ones that are, you know, made with a mandala stripe type yarn, because it becomes a horizontal stripe all the way down, it just makes you look like a barrel. And I just won't wear something like that. Okay, so here we are. We're close to the end. I'm going to do a single crochet in this space, do 4 slip stitches, and then a single crochet in this space. So I hope that transition is clear. And I'm just going around and around. I'm not going back and forth this time. And I would either measure it or use your measuring tape around your waist, your high waist, or the largest part of your body, and make sure that your top is going to be comfortable around that part. And you can just keep going down as long as you want. And you could make this a dress cover up if you wanted to. I think mine's going to be just over the hips. So this will be a long piece. But this is all I'm doing. I'm not even going to do picots on this part. I'm just going to keep doing plain lattice because this has got a lot of a busier print to it because of the thread of cream that runs through it. And the picots aren't going to show up very easily. They're just going to be a part of the noise of this yarn. So I will come back and I will show you what it looks like when I get to the end of the first round. Okay, so I'm at the end of the round, the first round in the contrast color. I'm doing 4 chains, and then I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of the first slip stitch. Oops, right there. Come on. Yeah. Slip stitches aren't the easiest stitches to get into. Alright, so that's it. Now, another 4 chains. And into this first space with a single crochet. So you got that side. So you make this little side hole. And then continue around, doing a single crochet into each 4 chain space, make another 4 chains, do a single crochet, do 4 chains all the way around. I will meet you back. Okay, so I've gone around and I did my last 4 chain stitches, and then I'm going to do a single crochet into that a chain space, 4 chain space. I don't know why I can't talk right now. And then I'm going to do 4 chains, and I'm going to do a single crochet in the next chain space. So now I'm not doing anything but continuous rounds. You see how that went? Just leveled up right there. And then as I continue, I'll just have a single crochet in each one of these chain spaces. And I'll just make it as long as I want. There will be no no more counting of rounds anymore. I'll just keep going until I decide when I reach this tail, I'll know this is the side that I started on, and I'll end it on this side. But I'm going to go around and around until it's as long as I want it to be. And you do the same, and I'll meet you back. So I have made these rounds as long as I wanted it to be. It's kind of tunic length at the moment. But I want to make the end kind of match the shoulders with the zigzag and the double crochet. So the first thing I'm going to do is, since I've come around to where I started, this I know because here's the end. So I did 2 slip stitches at this last place. I'm going to put in a double crochet right here in the very next single crochet. So that ends it. So now I'm going to do a double crochet into the spaces. And since we did 4 chains, I do 4 double crochets into the space and then a double crochet into the top of the single crochet. And then 4 more double crochet into that space. So that's how I am going to transition into the next part of this project, which is the end trim. I want it to be a little bit heavier because I want this to actually open up from the weight of the yarn at the bottom, at that bottom hem. So try it on, make sure that it's as long as you want it to be, make sure that it is as wide as you want it to be around your hips. You don't have to make it go below your hips like I did for mine, but I like my shirts to be tunic length, you know, rather than right at the hips. I like things to hang over my waistline rather than end right at my waistline. It's just my preference. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1 into. So that's what it's going to look like. I hope that you can follow that. And I will meet you back when we're done. Okay, so I'm at the end, and as you can see, it wants to keep going up this row here, and then they would be at 2 different levels. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to do a single crochet here and another single crochet here, a double crochet down here, and then a slip stitch at the top. So that's how I'm going to resolve that level issue. It isn't the prettiest, but it's a lot flatter than you would expect. Now I'm going to do what is known as a double crochet cross stitch. So I'm going to level up using stacking single crochets, just 2 of them. Then double crochet, oops, that's the, yeah, into the same one. Oh, it keeps splitting and it's making me mad. Okay. All right. So there's these two double crochets. Well, this is this one that's kind of a double crochet, and then this is the actual double crochet. So now we have leveled up, skip one, and crochet forward with a double crochet. Then wrap your yarn and double crochet please stop. So there's the cross right there. It crosses over. Double crochet into not this one but the next one. And then double crochet into the one that you skipped. Okay, there's another X. Skip it, double crochet into that next, double crochet into the one that you skipped, and you want to pull that up so that it gets over that crochet, the one that you did. So you want it to go over it. So there are the X's. So keep doing that all the way around. And if you don't like this stitch, you can try a different edging stitch. I like the way this looks. But I'll meet you back. Okay, so I'm at the end. I've done the double crochet cross stitches. Now I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that stack double crochet, and now I'm going to do another stack double crochet, or stack single crochet up to the level of a double crochet, and then I'll double crochet into that. And now I'm just going to double crochet across each one of these open stitches at the top. I'm just going to double crochet all the way around, and this will be my final row. I just wanted to give a little extra weight to the end of the shirt so that these holes open up a little bit from the weight of the yarn. So this is where I ended with my armhole, and I tried it on, and because of the extra weight, this is actually stretching much further down than I want it to be gapping under my arm. So too much side is showing. So I've measured up on both sides, and I have put a stitch marker in where I want it to go. And I'm just going to do a real quick zigzag. There is a thunderstorm. I don't know if you can hear that. So I'm just matching up the gaps. And I'm just going to go back and forth. I'm going to start here with a slip stitch in the back part. There we go. 2 chains. I'm going to move up, do a single crochet, and then do 2 chains, and then move up over here and do a single crochet, do 2 chains, and move up to the next space, do a single crochet, do 2 chains, move up to the next part, do a single crochet, 2 chains, do a single crochet, and this is the last hole on this side, single crochet. I'm going to take the stitch marker off and get that out of the way. So now the last hole is here on this side. Do a single crochet, 2 chains, and come back to the same hole. I do 2 chains. I'm going to cut that right there. So there we go. I've created a little bit of a zigzag to try to blend in the armhole. Okay, so I have finished the sides, and now I want to do a edging on the armholes because I feel like this looks too raw. Whoop. Thunderstorm is going to give me a power outage. Yay! So there we go. I got that slip stitch on there. Now we're doing a stacked single crochet up to the level of a double crochet. And you can see there's a lot of stuff in the way. This is like the side of a single crochet, and I need to make sure this is double crochets, not single crochets. So I'm going to go in the middle of that single crochet sideways through the leg right here. See, there's the pants, there's the legs, this is the bottom, this is the top of that single crochet. Now I'm going to do 2 double crochets through this hole, and then again through the pants, and it's an anchoring single crochet on the edge there, and then 2 double crochets, and I'm going over my tail there for about 3 or 4 stitches, and then I'm just going to push it to the side. That will give me enough of a tail to work through, because I don't just, and I went through the side of the legs of that single crochet, and I'm going to do 2 double crochet in here in this space. What else is nice about going through these single crochets like this is, one, it doesn't allow too much of a gap between your double crochets, and it gives you an anchor so they don't bunch up too much in one area. Okay, it looks like I'm at another double crochet. A single crochet going through the legs. And that's the thing about putting a border on, is that you are basically taking all the weird rough edges on the sides and edges and you're trying to make them look uniform. So you just have to put the stitch on when you're doing a border where it will fit, and try to be consistent all the way along that odd edge. So it's kind of like making order out of chaos. All I can say to you is good luck, because it's not easy. It's often difficult, and you just have to kind of go with the flow, do it on the fly, whatever you want to call it. You just have to do your best. Okay, now I'm coming up to the top of the rectangle, and here I'm going to have to deal with the side of, and it looks like I did a lot of really tight hiding of ends here, so the ends are all woven in here already. And that's another thing, is you can do your ends as you go along, or you can wait till the end of your entire garment and weave in your ends at the end. And that sometimes is more advantageous for a lot of reasons. One, it's like this, I've woven my ends in and now it's really tight, so it's going to be hard for me to find a place to put my border stitch in. Two, sometimes you change your mind mid-garment. You may just go, oh, I don't want to do it that way. And since I've already sewn in all of my ends, I don't have a choice really, unless I want to take a, like a tapestry needle and just painstakingly pull each one of these yarns out. Oops. So yeah, weaving them as you go versus waiting to the end. I recommend waiting to the end, but sometimes you just get frustrated and you're like, I gotta get these ends out of my way. So you do that. It's not always the best, but it happens. And with this splitty yarn, I tell you, I'm at my wit's end with it. So I'm going to come back, and hopefully there will be, we'll have power to do this. The lights keep flickering, so wish me luck. Okay, so I'm at the end here. I've just got that little bit of zigzag that I just made to go over, which was 2 stitches, so I'm going to just do 2 double crochet, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the top of those stacked single crochets. Okay, and I'm going to try it on. Okay, so I tried it on, and actually I like it just like this. So I'm going to stop at just putting a double crochet edge on, because it looks a lot like the neck. Thank you for trying this project with me. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and please like and subscribe.